So today we are going to do NMM shields. What can an NMM shield actually look like? Now, I have two examples here. This one we did this weekend with with oil paints, guided in by Dial on Art, also on Twitch. And as you can see, the oil is still drying, but the reflections tell the story of the surrounding environment, basically. I have another example on this dude, which is a bit of a more intricate shield. As you can see, the reflections don't really break off. And they continue in on the bronze edge of the shield. Now, is this perfect? No. But why I wanted to show you this one is because, as you can see, this is all being done by just striping it on. As you can see, there's stripes on here, respecting the shape of the shield, and curling it around. So there you go. Now, we're going to do a shield together. Whoa, really brush. Yes. It's going to be this one. The circular shape should be easy enough. Don't mind the indents on the outside. We can use those, but they're not the most important parts of the shield. Now, I airbrushed this in the beginning, so we're going to start anew together. The only thing that you got to keep in mind is this one is printed. There's print lines here, so this will affect the brushing. However, we're going to try and get it as good and as believable as possible. And the paints that we're going to use for this session is, again, black and white. Basically, if you want to go for colors or anything along those lines, be my guest. But I feel like learning how to do NMM with simple black and white is easiest and most forgiving. So we gotta put it on our palette again. I'm saying again because I also made the NMM sword tutorial. It's basically the same principle, shape is different now. And I could go into the whole, theory of how and what, but just understanding a basic approach to NMM in this way, I believe you gotta attempt it a few times and then picking your own examples. I think I can explain a lot better what is going on and why it is happening. Now, I put the taper on the big camera now, so you can actually see me actively do what I do in order to prep the glazes, make the glazes, you name it. My hand will be covering the light on the palette a little bit, but the palette is not the most important part. That is important, obviously, but for this shield, I think we can do proper stuff. Regarding the previous sword tutorial that we did in all detail, you got to see the thickness of the glaze and whatever. I'll obviously be explaining everything that I'll be doing, so you understand what and how. Take you along by the hand. And if you don't have a shield like this, well, please let me know. Probably provide you with examples, or maybe I can hook you up to a horde. We'll have to see. Just contact me. I will make it work. Obviously, if you have questions during the video, feel free to drop me a DM or post it in Patreon class. Sharing it in Patreon class or on the Patreon itself will obviously help a bunch of other people as well. Not everybody knows what questions they get down the line, so just so you know, my piece of paper here is a little bit moist, which will help with the glazing later on. The first step will be just make the entire shield black. Now, this was a previous project of mine, and I've given up on it. It was a Space Marine type of deal. I lost my interest in Space Marines, so I'll just be repainting this one. And as always, just imagine this being like the regular primed shield, and we're just gonna paint it black, this color black. Put it everywhere. Again, I'll just be doing the front or the visible side shield. Keep it focused. But you just do this willy-nilly. Don't think about it too much. You just want color. Even though you've primed it a certain color, don't worry about it. Just paint it black again with a black that you have handy. So basically any color black. I don't know what your poison is, but Vallejo, Citadel, you name it. Also, normally I'd wear a glove to keep the attention focused on the shield or the article that we're painting. However, it is like 45 million degrees up here. I'm in the attic, and slowly but surely summer is coming to Holland, so I'm sweating my teeth off. And it'll be on your end, you know. I guess whether wearing pants or not tonight. It is evening. Now it's been cooking here up here like crazy. Should have used a bigger brush, but everything is still packed from the weekend out with the boys for first ever edition of Brush Con, which was a lot of fun. But yeah, just paint your shield black. And well, we'll take an easy approach to this. It is actually so hot that my Mr. Tacky is giving up on me. We'll do 2 layers, like normal. And 2 layers will always help with coverage. Keep the paint nice and thin, so you won't lose any details whatsoever. Always dilute your paints a little bit. Now this is golden so flat, so these from the get-go are quite easily diluted. Just make sure you cover every bit of the front of the shield at least. There you go. Nice and covered. Now you can still see a little bit of the bottom layer. Make sure your previously applied layer of black is nice and dry before you start applying another layer. Otherwise, you're gonna pull off the paint and you're gonna cry. It's gotta be visible. It's gonna be ridgy. You name it. See if I can pull it into position a little bit better. It doesn't wiggle everywhere. Again, if you have a practice piece, you could do a base as well, for example. It will not be a perfect shield. There will be a little bit of texture on there, but you could use a regular base to practice with. Or anything else. Slightly beveled, circular, oval. This is the same principle. Now, normally light would behave differently on those different shapes, but for the practice session, you can apply it on an oval shape. Just gotta elongate the middle part. Get there. Yep. Go. We're just putting in the black, so you know, like a benchmark from which to go. We're just gonna create gray for the midtones, apply white for highlights. We're gonna make this shield beautifully anemone. Gotta check whether or not my boys are still asleep. Absolutely comatose, cooking in their rooms as well. Now we'll let this dry as well. We're gonna start making our mixture gray. Just gotta make a proper mid-tone, 1-to-1 ratio. I'm just gonna make a little pool, both black and white, and just 50-50 mix it. Go a nice dark gray. If you don't have pure pigments, it might colorize a little bit. Citadel's notorious for this because they don't actually use proper single pigment paints. Just keep an eye on how your paint behaves on the palette, and should be good. Now the bevel kind of goes to the middle of the shield. As you can see, and then it starts to veer off into the distance. This is a nice and dark gray. My shield is about dry now, so I'm just gonna put a nice little stripe in the middle here, spades up. And this will also help with later grays applied. It's not like a thorough black base coat anymore. And I'm going to go a little bit down here. You won't fully cover it, but you'll get like a horizon type deal going on. I'm gonna take white. I'm using an old brush for this because they don't have to be that detailed yet. And the white we will be applying here. Basically what we're doing is we're sketching out highlights on the shield already. So we have an idea of where our brightest points will be. Rivets, catch the light up as well. Or whatever these are supposed to be. I don't know, decoration. And we're just going for this one. We're going to be judging that the light is coming from the top. You don't have to, again, you don't have to be perfect with this, you know. It's gotta look good. Now, as you can already see, there is already a highlight appearing on the shield as we twist it on the top. Double over here. So I put a little bit of black there as well. Just put it so. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're gonna paint over it anyway. But at least now we have an idea of, okay, this is about the behavior of the shadows and the lights on the shield. No, we have a little puddle of gray. I'm gonna take the white. No, we gotta dilute that gray a little bit more. I'm gonna sketch on the rest of it. And again, start middle. This is the only approach? Absolutely not. It's gonna be brighter up here anyway. I'm gonna push it up a little bit. that. And we're gonna paint within the shields. Glow going down. Like this. Paint within the layers that you've applied previously. You can already see it right there. A little bit more of that light gray. Applying it over here. Over here by the edge of the white. You can paint over the white again. We're not looking for perfection. Alright. Over here a little bit. Around the rivets. Doesn't matter if you touch the rivets. The white will remain visible anyway, but there's going to be a little bit of shadow in between the angles of the upward moving bit and the rest of the shield. I don't know what to call this. The edge. There you go. Like a yellow paint, right? Now, as I am viewing this, I feel like this can go a bit lower still. So I'm going to take my previews to make sure. And I want to add a little bit to it. Because you can't. Nobody can tell you what you can't do. Let's just say it goes a little bit deeper. But you know what? Let's just put it around here. So now over here, we're going to do this edge as well because there would be some bounce lights from the bottom. And it'll make it visually interesting as well. This is the darker gray mix that we've applied here. Just adding a new layer to it. And already you can see that this is making it a little bit more lovely. Now I see that I skipped a little bit here, so I'm going to wait for this layer to dry. I'm going to push it down a little bit up until like the edge of the shield. Sometimes you gotta blow your miniature pieces, you know, up and dry a little bit. Respect the shape a little bit. Start, you know, developing a little bit of a curve to your brushes. We're gonna let it dry. Maybe even push the light gray down a little bit more. Give it a little bit. Like, yeah. Yeah, I like this. Is this like a science to me? Absolutely not. I just try to look at what's happening and judge whether or not I'm liking it. You know? Not a lot of NMM. It's basically just suspending disbelief of an object not being metallic. So, I mean, obviously, if you want, you can make it an exact science. This little exercise. Either I got time for that. Yeah. Just a little bit over the previous layer. There you go. There you go. Alright, starting a little bit like a dark metallic thing on you. I'm gonna take a little bit of white. Make a little puddle of this. Nice and bright gray. Not fully white. shadowy white. This black's I'm gonna add a little bit more. I did a 3:1 ratio. White. Like almost as dark as our previous mix. That's a lot brighter. Gonna add some more white to it. There we go. There we go. Do it around this edge here. Starting to, you can see, starting to paint to the shape of the shield. This will also sell the shape of the shield better. There we go. But then down here, we're going to start a little bit closer to just scratch it over. Doesn't have to be a perfect shape yet. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be perfectly applied yet. You can see on top, go a little bit. Blow your paint dry. A little bit to there as well. Know where the highlights be. Feel like that ain't working for you. You can always make a picture of the moment. Understand better what it is that you've done with the sketch. I don't know about you guys, but I can already see it coming together. Now, basically, if you look at this, anything angled at this shape should have about the same color. You can exaggerate it a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. We can do this over here. A nice light gray layer. Starting to communicate certain concept, an idea. Take a little bit more, do the rivets as well, because the rivets are not just bullets. Just try to touch your brush. Top areas of rivets, I'll show you in a sec. You see the rivets at the top colored in. If you did turn them, shadow at the bottom. You kind of want to maintain that. Do the same bottom rivets. They would be catching light from the top. There you go. You know, basically same effect. Go with it. Beyond. And we're going to do the same as we did with the previous layer, but I'm now gonna take a different brush, a little bit of a sharper tip, the one I've been using. There you go. Now, the only thing that would be kind of working against me is the lines on the print, but it shouldn't be too problematic. Make sure your brush is nice and wet. The humidity up here is basically zero. Also, again, we typically just scratch it in. Doesn't have to be perfect circles at all. Just scratch it. This will help sell the idea of it being, battered. beat. It's a shape, metallic. Scratch on the lines. The lines nicely. Your previous color is basically the same. Should help with this the layer become visible, but push through a little bit. And again, we're not worried about blending yet. We're not worried about perfection yet. But just want to get the colors into shape. Get a nice sketch going now. Now for the edge, you could do that same stripey bit, but it's gonna get off easy. I'm gonna start a little bit closer to like the top of the shield and skip the edge at the bottom. Over here, just do the like internal edges. We're gonna blend those in with the shadows better. Wait, let's just do it now. Let's just do it. You're wondering why is he not doing this edge, bruh? It's still like almost black. Don't worry about it. We're gonna get there. Hold your horses and do everything at once. Gonna take like a previous mix. We're just gonna blend in a little bit of that shadows. A little bit here. Contrast it a little bit here. Give it a contrast, you know? We see how this might as well just go for that one. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to look at this color that we applied here. We're going to do that same color there. We take our not so dark green, but dark anyway. Now mine is a little bit diluted. Kind of want to have the same color as the one in the middle of the shield, as you can see. And again, 2 layers. We can do a little bit more because this is at the top, but for now we're just gonna stick with what we got. Doesn't matter if you touch the other stuff. Try to avoid it, obviously, but it doesn't really matter that much. You can always go back, you can always go forth. Again, it's not science. You gotta trust your eyes a little bit. If it doesn't look believable, then it doesn't look believable. You gotta adapt and overcome. There you go. Looking nice. Looking nice, gamers. Now, over here, this bevel, unbelievable. So, I'll take that same color that we used for the little edge. Gonna start scratching it on here as well. Again, don't have to do perfect circles. I don't want to sell the idea of it beating it into shape. Go. As you can see, it already starts to complement the shape of the shield better. We still have these horizontal lines here. Doesn't really matter, we're going to paint over them. You can already see light action cameras taking place, basically. Taking that bright gray again. Scratch. Placing. Just using the tip of my brush. If you don't feel comfortable scratching like this yet, don't worry. You can just apply the paint. Just understand that I'm doing this to emulate the idea of scratches and dents and stuff like that. Because as we build up layers, tiny slivers of that paint will remain visible, and they will help sell that idea. can see I'm expanding a little bit, but this will also help with the blending later down the line. We might even take this a little bit lower, to be fair. Absolutely blow on your models. Paint big. Now looking for perfect. This in and of itself takes some practice. Just like apply the colors. Such like the motion of the ocean, you know? Take that darker gray solution. Just bring it into the we're going to brush it into the you're going to brush it into the same color that you're applying now. Okay. Now we have our shadows in place, we have our highlights in place. Take that light gray dilution again, or solution, or paint. Tip at the top of this to bring back the highlights. We're just going to use white for the outermost highlights. There you go. Now we're gonna mix in brighter white, really wreck. I'm gonna bring in even brighter highlights. I'm just gonna add a little bit of black. This one. I actually want it brighter. I don't know. Seems like this black is loaded with black. I think this was the case with the sword as well. Regardless. Just gotta keep mixing. We get a nice bright gray. I'm gonna add a little bit more white paint to the mixture. I'll take it from the old lady. It's my palette, so I have a little white reservoir I can access, but I'll also just immediately apply it to the grain. See what happens. There we go. Look at that. Now I always tell people, lick your brushes, but obviously that is always a joke. You should refrain from doing it. I do it after I clean my brushes, not beforehand. accidentally swallowed some contrast ones. It's not a happy little camper. Let me put it that way. I have a nice and bright green. Good. Put it in place. Little dots. Again, you don't have to be super precise with this, but I kind of don't want this to cover the entire span of the shield. Pick some of more from my finger. To that edge. And then this should be about the same brightness as the rest of the top of the shield. Let's just put this on the outside rivets. A little bit off on the hand. This a bit sharper. Just like a slow, very thin, elongated, long U shape. Now I feel like we can push this a little bit further down, so the effect a little bit better. So some of that previous mixture. Add a little more. Direction of this doesn't really matter as long as like applies to the shape. It complements the shape. Elongate it a little bit into there. Just got this highlight that anyway. There you go. Doing this on a camera, by the way, will help you a little bit due to the fact that basically non-metallic metal in general, and especially this style, look good from one direction and look like this from another direction. So and then we're going to use this, bring it a bit back again. As you can see, on the cube, my paint picture has already been drawing up. It's gonna use the same type of strokes, bring back the color, just brush it into it like the previously applied color. I'm gonna take this one, brighter white, grayish. Okay. Oh. Now we take a little bit of the white. Within your previous highlight. Now mine is diluted a bit, mind you. That's also, I don't want to immediately start covering what we've previously done. Add to the idea of a reflection. I'm going to use my pure white in a minute. Over here, a little bit of this to the edge. This is the not so white. Length. Feel comfortable with. Let's get a little bit of reflection. Not fully, but like this. Go to the dark gray again. Just apply some to the bottom, scratchy motion. This is like the first mixture we made. So mix it. You can already see the idea. The gray coming in. The idea of the NMM. Brighten up the top a little bit. Let's just say the sun brightest bit. Middle. Like that. Gonna emphasize the highlight coming from the top. I am having it a little bit diluted, but not too much. Because this is flatter. Broaden it out a little bit, like so. Right here. So, I'm gonna bring it. Then this. again, perfection, and that gets in place. We're gonna push it all up. Wait. Start blending it in with the other colors. And this one, just into the blend it. Start within the right one, fan it out so you can actually respect the previous color. There won't be a lot of change. The grays that we've applied. You can also make it a little bit larger. Now we do the same principle together. This one. Go for your gray, somewhat lighter gray, into your highlight, which is the brighter gray. Then we take the previous one, or shape the other. Now doing the other side, so show you what happens with that highlight. Like so. And we'll find out the rest of it. Here you can see like a very sharp line. Right here, it's a little bit more smoothened out. Here, say some along the edges. Right. No, bottom, kind of the same principle. We're gonna make it dark. You can already see like that idea of metal starting to take shape here. Here we're gonna take black. We're gonna counter what we've done here. We don't want this to be too big. There is a lot of light still in the environment. Kind of mirror one another. Fix it. More that black. Smooth. Again, you don't have to be too neat and tidy. Get it into place. I blend these in together with the colors as well. They almost get like two towers opposite of one another. Gonna take that dark gray bit. I'm gonna work it into the shadow area, make it more round. This. And we're not too hassled with getting those perfect blends yet. We just want to get the idea of a metallic object, but in this case, a shield. This way. Light gray. Smash it like this a little bit. Give it more of that circular feel. A little bit brighter at the top as well, where we rivets. Keep a little bit of shadow at the bottom. Basically, you place your tip like almost at the bottom where it bends over into the oval shape, round shape shield. Then you just draw the hand towards the edge, so where you want it, due to the highlight that we're going to place there later. Let's take white again. We're going to push those highlights up. This is intricate. This is pure white. However, this paint dilutes nicely, so you should try black a little bit. Then I can just tiny smooches, not too big. Start in the middle. I'll drop a bottle like I did. And you're not looking for perfection, you're looking for an effect itself, right? A little bit too bright on the top. I'm gonna take that a little bit dulled out gray. I'm gonna push it into that position. We're basically gonna pull them together a little bit. The white needs to be elongated a little bit. Gotta put some dots at the top, the rivets, small little dots, put them at the top of the rivets. And this white will again dry a little bit dulled out. Not using like pure white yet. More into that the darker gray. We're gonna dilute that a little bit over here, so we got a nice thing, glaze type consistency. Like so. The black into the gray into the black. No perfection. Before we forget, I'm gonna whip a little bit of white these edges as well. So, just the tippy tip, the whole thing, and then again, put it in the middle of our previous white dots here. I'm going to make a mixture that looks a little bit like this here, little bottle, because mine is dry. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to use it as a glaze anyway. We want it so we can glaze the edges in the middle of the shield a little bit. And again, we're not all looking for perfection. This is practice. We kind of want to get it to a point where an onlooker will judge it as an MM. A little bit more white. This is good. Well, I'm going to use it to this. I'm going to take that darker bit that we did, pick that brush off on the piece of paper, and pull it the other way. We're gonna take a bit of a brighter green. Make it into a glaze. And then we take a bright white. We're gonna dot all the highlights. Now I use Vallejo dead white for that. Which is this one. Which is a nice, thick and concentrated white. And what I'll do is apply this on the edge up top. Just a thin stripe over here. We're gonna push it in a little bit. So. I think we can add a little bit to it. Let me grab and brush through this. High detail, you know? High detail. High. I'm doing it this way. I can properly control the amounts I'm depositing. So I can actually pull the highlights into the middle over here. Just the edges over here. Like so. So. And then the edge over on top. Like so. some stripes and dots here. Just like with the sword, scratch on the shield. To help the NMM in an easy way to just show itself. Take a pure white, find some final dots. Put them on top of the rivets. Because basically these are like super tiny little shields on the shield, if that makes sense. There you go. Now you can push the values. However, you also just want to practice. And you kind of got to practice to get like a better idea on what it moves. That's tiny little scratch. Dots there. Oh. And there you have it. A NMM shield. The light source obviously would shift on the angle. The light would come from this angle. Then obviously you would have to draw it that way. We used black and gray because the bottom wouldn't catch a lot of light. It's just easily in a dark dungeon. Bright light coming from the top. Very little reflective light. And then here you go. Is this perfect? Absolutely not. But this has been done in a little less than an hour, and I think this is a perfect way for you to start practicing on this whole ordeal. And basically you get a little bit of a dulled down version of this one. And this one took me way longer than an hour, so enjoy. Have fun. If you want to try oils, I can highly recommend checking out DLN stuff. And this is done with oil paint, so there you go. Enjoy. If you want to blend it better, feel free to smoothen it out, or not, whatever you want. You can scratch it even better. Make the brightness brighter because now there's like a light coming from the top. You can scratch this out a bit more. If you want secondary lights, you can highlight a little bit of a gray tone in here, a little bit of black next to it. Have like multiple sources of light, but this should be like a start to an NMM shield that is real. Good luck. Have fun. If you have any questions, obviously, feel free to ask. Smooches.